Got it. Okay, you guys are now live.
Oh,
All right, Richard, you can take it away.
okay, we have a quorum, I believe. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the regular meeting of October for the HARB, the Historic Architecture Review Board for the City of Scranton. I will begin I'm calling the meeting to order, and I'll begin by taking roll. I am Richard Leonori. I'm a Scranton architect, and I am the chair of the HARB.
Okay.
If we then may go through who's here.
Okay, Conrad Bosley. I know
Conrad, you're muted.
yeah, but he's here.
He is here.
William Lesniak, he is absent. Katie Gilmartin. She's
I'm
here.
present. Good evening.
Good evening, Katie.
And Mike Muller
Hello.
and
Hello,
Katie
Michael.
Kearney. She is absent.
How are you? Kelvin's
You have a
welcome.
quorum, right, Brittany?
Yes, you have 4.
Okay, great. Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Brittani Hamer. I am the coordinator for the boards, commissions, and authorities. And our solicitor is also present, Daniel Penetar. He is participating by telephone.
Excellent. We have some guests, I think.
Yes.
Yes, if you'd like to, Fausto, introduce yourself.
Hi, how you doing? I'm the sign company, Blue LED Sign.
Okay, and who else do we have here?
Kelvin Diaz, the manager of Penetar.
Okay, welcome.
And then
Anybody else?
Karina Chavez, also from Empanada King.
Hey, Karina.
Hi.
Anyone else?
Carrie Potter with Potter K Architecture.
Oh, hi, Carrie. How are you?
I'm all right, Richard.
Stranger, how are you? Nice to see you. Okay. Okay, great.
Jim Caffarelli, representing J-Bass Realty.
Great, Jim. Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, we have minutes from our special meeting and from September.
Yes.
Okay, if you'd like to, can you put them on the screen there, Brittany?
Yep. So you have the minutes from the September 8th meeting that needs to be approved. And then you also have minutes from the, there we go. Sorry, technology is messing with me. October 4th, special emergency meeting that needed to be approved.
Okay,
And these were all previously emailed to everybody for their review.
do we have any comments from the HARB members on the meeting?
I have none, but I'll make a motion to
None.
accept the minutes.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Conrad. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, those minutes are approved, Brittany.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we'll go to our business here today. Our first is for a certificate of appropriateness for the Good of the Hive mural.
Yes.
And do we have anybody representing that?
Yes, hi, this is Rose Randazzo.
Hi,
I'm
Rose.
chairwoman of the Scranton Schmarr Mural Arts. How's everyone?
Good.
So this is really just a address change. I attended a meeting several months ago, and this mural was approved except for the location, which was going to be initially on North Washington Avenue. And that was changed to the Scranton Civic Ballet Company on Mifflin Avenue rear wall. This is a wall that was identified by the Mural Arts Committee early on and by Richard, who sits on the committee. So it was a natural second choice for the mural, and it's completed.
It is completed?
Oh.
Yes.
It is completed, okay. Do we have any commentary on this? Michael, Conrad, anyone?
I saw it
No.
recently. It looks great, and I don't take any exception
Yeah.
of the address change.
It does look very, very nice.
Okay,
I know.
I think that, in terms of the location that has been selected, it's simply an isolated building across from a parking, on a parking lot, basically. It doesn't really affect any of its neighbors. And so it also does provide a kind of long distance viewing, which the original site didn't really allow. So in that sense, in terms of the mural, I mean, I don't really think it affects the any of the historic properties, and it is a well-executed mural. So I would recommend a motion on this.
Richard, it may be overkill, but I will once again abstain, especially in light of the fact that the Scranton Tomorrow Board meeting is currently being conducted on the other side of this
Fair
room.
enough. Okay, I understand, Katie. Yeah, well, I can't. I would think I would have to abstain as well. So, Michael or Conrad?
Sure, I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we're okay on the Good of the Hive mural. Thank you, Rose.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Okay,
Hi, Rose.
now we have another situation. I do believe we have some representation here for the Lackawanna County mural.
Yes,
123
I'm here. Hi,
Wyoming
Richard. Hi,
Avenue.
everyone. Good evening.
Hello, Maureen. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks.
Good, good.
Um,
Now, I really, one of the issue has come up here, and we have this problem kind of with murals and with painting and anything that doesn't really require a building permit, in that its process in coming before the HARB is problematic. Okay, so again, this is a mural that is completed. We did not get to have input into this. It's not your fault, Maureen. It's the process. And I don't know, maybe Dan, if you could say something to this, but I think we'd like to do better in the future. Ideally, this comes before us before it gets executed. Right?
Yeah.
Richard, I think you described it well. I think that the process with respect to paint or anything involving paint, like such as this, the process isn't 100% clear right now. So that's something that we're working on right now to address as soon as possible, so that it becomes more clear in the future, so that everyone is applying ahead of time and getting their applications in before the work is completed.
So I do want to just add, I was on the preservation committee. I was chair of the preservation committee for Pennsylvania Historic and Museum Commission for a number of years. And in terms of the state and the preservation community, paint is held in high and low regard, in that it's seen as a kind of temporary, so normally there's a certain amount of leeway, unless it's really a historic shrine or something where they're trying to get back to an original color. I'm assuming, and I'm just going to say, I think that the Scranton Dry Goods building looks fabulous, but it did not come before the HARB. But I do believe that it did go before PHMC. So this is another example, of buildings that are getting painted without having access or having review by the HARB. So it is something that we're going to have to address. I'm going to say, Maureen, I'm going to stick my neck out there, and I think the mural looks great. Okay.
Oh,
It's
good.
it's really,
Really
I think
happy.
it has a professionalism to it. It isn't that, some amateurs got there and tickled the wall. I'm very pleased. It's bold, it's dramatic, and it's a great improvement to the street, in my opinion. Okay. But it's just a matter of the process here is,
I totally understand. And of course, working in my position, I want to follow the procedures properly. So,
Yeah. One of the things I was asked, well, what if you did something and that we absolutely hated and all, and I don't know, Dan, if we would have, in that instance, would we have any ability to go back and perhaps request some changes or something? Occasionally, now we did have some issue on the other side of the county office building there, where we thought that some of the graphics that were proposed were rather offensive. And so, do we have any recourse on something like this?
That's a good question, Richard. I think that that's one of the points that's going to be discussed with the State Historic Preservation Office next month.
Okay.
That's definitely one of the things. There needs to be a a clearly defined set of factors for the board to evaluate.
May I ask a question for clarity on that?
Yes.
So I think one of the confusions too is, historic, is it because it's in a historic zone? Like if a building isn't historic, so
Yes.
all artists would,
Yes.
Um,
Yeah,
because right now it's a
not all the
recommended
buildings
one.
are contributing. They're not all considered historic, but
Right.
it was decided that since there is absolutely no design review board for the city of Scranton, that to extend the powers of the HARB to the entire downtown would first of all make it easier for review and for things to come before the HARB rather than falling through the cracks. And so in that sense, the other thing is when we're dealing with things like murals or, the 1957 parking garage that is actually part of, that we as the HARB hopefully have a sort of lighter or different approach, just simply to decide, is it appropriate? Does it contribute? Does it detract? That kind of thing. I don't think in any event would we really get into some of the very, very specifics of graphics, just like we get a lot of signage that comes here. We don't necessarily get into typeface or different kinds of things. It's more of a overall, is the size okay? Does it not light up? We're not too crazy about light up signs and that kind of thing. Does that help?
Yeah, because I was even confused. So yeah, that does help. So thank you.
Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way: that the mural was certainly applied to a building that was originally 1957 parking garage, and then what had been done to it with the metal blocking in the openings with metal and all that stuff was not historic in any manner. And so then the mural gets applied to that. So how does this fit into the HARB, right? Now, we do have to say, across the street, I think we would all say those are historic buildings. And so you are in a district there, right? You're there by the Samters building and all of the smaller row buildings that are across the street. They're all part of the historic district. Any other comments on that? Okay, I need a motion. Can we approve the mural at 123 Wyoming Avenue, Lackawanna County mural?
I also move.
Second?
And I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, yeah, actually, Maureen, I do. I think it's a great enhancement. And
Yeah.
it's a very professional looking job. So very
Yeah,
nice
they
to
were
do.
great. They were the perfect people for the job. So I'm glad everybody likes it. We got a positive response from the public too, which is important.
Good, good. Now you just have to get a positive response from the newspaper. Okay.
All press is good press.
Okay,
They did like it actually though. So we achieved that. So
good, great.
thank you. Have a good
Okay,
night.
thank you.
Everybody.
Okay, what's next here, Brittany? You have to scroll up a little bit.
Oh, it's okay. I'm sorry. The next one is 116 North Washington in Penetar King.
Okay, and Penetar King, I think we asked for some changes on your sign. Is that not true?
Yes.
Yes.
Let me get down there. Sorry. Come on, thank you. There we go. Go back.
We can't see your screen, Brittany, just so you know.
Oh, gosh. Why isn't this?
All I have is the agenda on my screen.
Yes, same here.
Really? What in the world? Sorry, guys. Can you see that now? It should say
No,
No.
no.
no. Oh,
Maybe
boy.
unshare and reshare.
That's what I'm gonna try. Yes. You are sharing screen. Can you guys see it now?
No.
No.
Okay. All right. Guys, again, sorry guys. I tell you. And we're going to Empanada King. There we go. Okay. I am so sorry, everybody. No. Technology just doesn't want to work with me today. All right, here we go. Can you guys see that now? Perfect. All right.
No.
Okay. So again, we have Empanada King, 116 North Washington.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah. Now, is there some imagery? Okay, here we
All
go.
right, here we go.
There we go.
All right.
Okay.
Karina, are you there?
Okay.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Karina and Calvin and Mr. Perez, I think, right? Okay. Calvin and Mr. Perez, you guys are on mute, so. All right.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. All right, you guys can present to the board your project.
Okay, starting with the first picture that you guys see.
This one?
Yes, that one right there. We are no longer putting any decaf and any wording on the windows. All we left is the logo that's in the middle of the window.
Okay. So this was this was the before.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we're not going no longer no decaf, no wording on the windows. That the black platforms that you see on the window, I spoke to Charles Jefferson. He has removed it. He's no longer doing that at all. So that's off the building.
Okay.
And now I'm gonna present the new signage. That is the blaze sign, the blue sign. There's going to be the HARB logo, and I'll have Milton present that.
Hi. Okay. Actually, the sign is gonna be steel welding with the plate to the building, to the bricks, and then this is a laser cutter all around, just the Empanada logo attached to the building with the 4-inch screws to the building, to the bricks. Yes.
Okay. Do we have an image of that or not?
I think it's the same image you have over there.
It's the same, but it's just going flat and there's nothing on the windows.
It's nothing on the window. And
right?
actually it's 2-arm holder, the plate, the double side plate,
yes,
aluminum,
yes,
welding. And I had 20 years experience, do the other stuff. And then we have the laser and the craver to do all the stuff like your welding,
okay. Fausto,
it's gonna
I'm
be
going
like
to ask you a
double.
question here, okay? Because it does not look to me like there's an awful lot of width of brick between the windows. Does the sign fit in the width of that space?
Yes.
It does. So it's really then a rather small sign.
Yes, it's gonna be like a 30-inch wide, and like a 40-inch high.
Okay.
From the sidewall, from the concrete through the signs, it's gonna be like a 7.5 foot. That means it's no way nobody can hit it, or even if you go your arm like that, it's no way you can reach.
Okay. Now, and this does not light up, right?
Not light up, because that's the thing you required before.
Yeah. No,
Before
okay.
was like
it does not light up. It's a metal
LED
sign.
inside, the aluminum steel.
Okay.
And welding with a 2-arm hold the signs. I mean, the proper way is, support like a 200 miles wind,
yes,
175. That's the requirement we
Okay.
have. And I do a lot of signs like that before, and then, I mean, it's you know, it's my name on it.
Okay.
Is that
Well,
going to be,
This is
is that
much
gonna be
more, much more modest than what was proposed before. Do we have any comments from the board?
yes, is that going to be perpendicular to the building or attached to the building?
Attached to the building.
Okay,
So it's flat on the building, it's between the windows. It's a flat metal sign. It doesn't light up.
No, I don't.
okay.
Okay, comments?
Well, I'm glad you described it because visually I'm getting a different understanding. It's
Yeah.
not a blade sign. It's flat.
Right.
Got it. Understand. And it's not 40 by 48, it's 30 by 40.
It's around the paint. I gotta take a look, but I think it's high. It's 40-inch high, and from the building outside, it's like a 32-inch. I can say with the arm and everything.
If there's an arm, then it's perpendicular to the building.
Yeah, perpendicular to the building. Yes,
Okay.
sorry about that.
Right. That was my question, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
there is an arm.
It's like welding with a 2 plate and 2 arms hold the logo.
Okay,
I mean,
there
it's
is
a
an
double
arm.
size.
So the sign is
It's
perpendicular.
double-sided. Yes.
Yeah, double sided.
Okay,
Okay, okay.
Sorry about that.
okay. Now, how does that little dancing
Empanada.
empanada there, how does that paint on the opposite side the same way? Huh? It seems to me there's a front and a back.
That part I have to make it work.
Okay,
It's
you have
like
to make it
it's
work.
like a yeah.
Okay.
It's like a 2 double side logo.
It's a
Gotcha.
mirror image.
And you have to
Mirror
mirror
image.
image. Yeah.
Mirror image. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Would
How
you say
thick is
this?
it,
Go ahead.
Fausto?
Yes.
The metal sign, how thick is it?
It's like a 6-inch thick.
6 inches?
Yeah.
So what, it's 6 inches thick, okay. So it's thick,
Yeah.
it's like a, okay,
Because the laser cut the aluminum and the aluminum go on the steel.
okay,
You know.
yeah. Now the edge of it, right, that 6-inch face of, that's gonna be black?
That's gonna be black and flush.
Okay,
You know, it's nothing can go inside between the 2 faces.
gotcha, it's gonna be black,
Yeah. Matte black.
okay. Okay, comments?
Does the sign truly stick higher than the windows?
Be honest with you, it's almost the bottom of the signs is gonna be flush from the top of the window.
As I look at that door is probably 6'8" or 7 feet, and I think you're saying the bottom of your sign is 6'10".
I assume in the
the
picture
sign-
right now, it's coming down with the other measurement, like it's like coming from the top of the window,
From the top of the
coming
window
down.
down,
coming
it.
down like a foot.
okay,
But from the soffit on the building, it's coming down like a 8-inch. That way the you know, have like a room between the soffit and the signs.
Yeah, I think I follow. It's a hard one. I'm sorry. Not gonna lie.
It's, and the height from the street is
6'10".
6'10".
Be honest,
You
with
said
you,
earlier 7 foot, yeah.
Yeah, I don't, legal is 6'8", by the way.
yeah,
Okay.
the reason
Okay.
the reason I make it like 7.5 because legal is like a 6.5, right?
Yeah, 6'8".
6.8. Yeah, you're right.
6'8" is legal.
And then I make it like a almost like an 8-inch higher. That way, you know, you get approval.
Yeah,
Okay.
You don't have
I-
any change, like nobody can hear it.
okay. I guess I'm gonna make a couple recommendations here. I'm gonna say, let's say that the crown doesn't go above the top of the windows and the bottom clearly is legal at 6'8"
And centered between the windows.
and centered between those two windows
Yes,
on the
okay.
brick pilaster.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Mike, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Fausto, go to work, make it beautiful.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, it's 6 o'clock.
Thank you, everyone.
Now the big one, I think, is coming. We have two more things.
Okay, yeah, you have,
Yes.
yeah, two more. All right,
more.
next is 519 Linden Street, J Bass,
Yes.
renovations, alterations, and restoration. I
Okay,
have to scroll back up, I am sorry.
gotcha. Now, this is a major project.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. There we go. All right.
Okay, let's go into the pictures there, Brittany.
Okie dokie.
Okay, there's the existing conditions.
Correct.
Okay.
And this
Yeah.
was what was proposed. Now, if I could
Okay.
zoom out, that'd be great.
Okay. So if you can roll this around a little bit. So this structure that's going in front, okay, what is in it? That's a stair?
This
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, is that a stair? Carrie, is this your work?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't submit these to HARB, but yes, this is our work. Yes.
Okay, so that is a stair and it is attached to the one side, that's the back.
Sorry.
Let me ask about, let's go, the easy parts are the sides. You are cleaning up the sides and both sides will have windows? And it's going to be natural brick or painted brick?
Well, the objective is for natural brick to clean up the painted brick in the fronts and bring it back to original. We've discovered through some selective demolition that the masonry has no masonry ties and it's zippering, it's delaminating, I'll say, from the wall. So the hope is really to reattach and to, to maintain a brick look. That'll definitely happen in the front. It'll definitely come around the corner, the historic corner. If you go to the left elevation, you'll see.
This is over the law offices there.
But then we have a problem in that there are no masonry, there's no brick ties tying this brick back to the building. So if you go, Brittany, I sent you some rendered elevations. I don't know how difficult.
Nope, it's fine. I've got it. I got it just before the meeting, so that's why I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry that they got to you so late.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, so yes, this should answer a couple of your questions. This is the design intent, right? Okay, so this is the alleyway,
Yeah.
and then this is the party wall that abuts
Good, okay,
Brickyard next door.
okay.
Okay, so the windows that we're showing are basically the historic windows. There's a decorative railing that is on the third floor. It's not present on the second floor right now. I don't have historic photos of this building, so I'm assuming that wrought iron or metal rail is original, and so we were going to duplicate it on the floor below. Perhaps there's also some talk about having access to a roof deck from those second floor apartments, so maybe doors open out onto a flat roof. What you're seeing on the ground floor from what I'll call the tower going left is what will look like a 3-season room, although it's an all-season room with nano wall, folding glass partitions, opening up onto the street and planters. We wouldn't be building any further out than the existing addition that was added on, God only knows when, that 2-story addition out front. We own that far, according to survey.
Okay.
So, and then cutting hole, if you go, Brittany, real quick, if you go to, I'm sorry, these weren't PDF together, they're all separate files. This is the existing fenestration. There's an area of stucco that right now we're showing like a zinc metal panel, some kind of a metal panel. It looks black, right? So it's a metal panel that's covering up this patch job that's in stucco that exists on. So anything that looks brick in the rendering is what's being shown as brick now, and anything that has this metal panel on it is right now stucco. So this is the sort of existing fenestration pattern. You go, Brittany, to 2.3, the next one, the next page. Thank you. These windows don't quite exist. They may have in these locations.
Right.
They've all been stuccoed over.
Well, this would be a tremendous improvement. I hate this view of this side of the building that you see from Adams Avenue. It's just a big blank cream colored mess. I mean, I hope you can find this, and I hope it's under there. Okay.
I do too. My question.
I do. I really hope you can. You know.
My question for HARB is that the more we demo, if we discover that this masonry just wants to fall off the building, how open are you to entertaining metal panel instead?
On the whole thing?
I wouldn't say the whole thing, but I don't know. First, you mentioned it yourself. I don't know what exists under the stucco. My thought is brick, certainly brick. There are window openings in there. I would think that they're.
Well, and I'm going to ask, is the cornice, you're showing a cornice here. Does the cornice exist now or not?
If you go to A2.2, Brittany, real fast, sorry. The cornice does exist. The dental molding only goes far back as those decorative windows, those atypical windows. So what is that, like 8 feet, maybe 10 feet? There's dental molding, and then the cornice runs through all the way to the back alley, which is great. We'd have to go back to photos. Yelena, who works for me, drew all of these up, and she's pretty thoughtful. I can only imagine, although I can also imagine cornice being drawn where there isn't cornice, but she's usually pretty good at going back to photographs, and I rarely doubt her work. So
I'm going to recommend something here, in that you're still in a process of discovery. And perhaps, you are being reviewed by the HARB. If you find that some of this is not here and you need to, or the money's not here, or the da-da-da is not here, can we make this a sort of ongoing process, and that you would come back? I mean, if this drastically changes, you would come back and review it with us?
John,
does that seem fair? I mean, you paid your dues in a sense, and you are here. And I'm going to ask Dan, is that something we can do? This is a pretty major project. It's an important, it's on the courthouse square. It's at the heart of town. And I personally, I like the brick a lot, but what if the brick is not there? Or what if the brick has to be changed?
Well, yeah, we know it exists on 3 sides at the very least. And I think it's all 3 sides that are causing some major concern. So as a historic enthusiast myself, I would, say certainly try to maintain the facade and the alleyway perhaps as much as possible. But what if the whole first floor of that alleyway, since it's already been adapted, they were stucco happy. What if, we came up with a pattern of metal panel just on the alley?
Where the mural is, basically.
Where the mural is.
Yeah, let's put it this way. I think I would, what's important here obviously is the face to the city, to the courthouse, right? And you mentioned the dental mold only goes back so far. I mean, that's pretty typical for a building to make a face and make a return and then stop, right? That's where the money was spent. So, I do think that once you go back down that alley past 8 feet, you're sort of in a different turf. It's a more utilitarian building. I think that this was a major like garage and car showroom or something. And I think where they stuccoed in was garage doors way back. I think there were broad openings back there.
That is correct.
Right? Is that correct? That's what I think it was, so.
The left-hand bay was actually an opening for a higher elevator to bring the Studebakers up to the showroom floor.
So there you go, see?
And the larger area that's shown as dark right now has 3 openings framed out behind that.
Right.
We actually are contemplating glass in that area now, because that's a corridor down towards restrooms, and we'd like to introduce some natural light from the alleyway. And that alleyway will become very activated at some point, especially when the electric city building adjacent to us is renovated. So we actually think that we want to be seeing out to that activity.
Gotcha.
It's from the door, that little passage door, all the way to the right, to the very front corner of the building, all the way up, that has released. It's actually bowed out 6 inches at the midpoint. And I was with John Marino today, talking about some of the options and the conditions and closing the alley down and work methodology and so forth. But he agreed. We definitely have a condition that we need to deal with right away. The brick from that passage door going left on the second and third floor has not released, and with a method called helifix, you may be familiar with this, where you drill and pin in 2-foot grids in the joints of the actual brick, we can resecure the back half of the building on the second and third floor. But the front, from the ground all the way up, has to come down. So the question then is, and by the way, a contributing factor to this movement was the fact that the shelf of the foundation was only about 75% wide enough for the brick that they sat on it. And then they hit it by parging the foundation with an angled lip, which has since deteriorated and fallen away. You can see the brick overhanging now off of that shelf. So we're now contemplating introducing the metal for at least that full half of the building from the corner back to about that door, and maintaining the brick the rest of the way. The back is in much better condition. The opposite side, though, the stucco has also released from the building. And we will be doing a substantial amount of work on that elevation to cut all those windows in. So that stucco goes away. And once we take a piece of it off, we'll see what we're dealing with. I'm not convinced that's red brick under there. I think that might be the gray brick that we see on the interior of floors.
Well, it might be. I don't know. I mean, the 1-story building that was over there is not historic, and this may have been party wall to a taller building at one point in time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And so maybe that was never even a finished wall. I'm not really sure.
Yes.
There are some kind of recess. I don't know for sure that there are windows, but now that they've removed interior furring, you can see that there was something in a pattern, and it may have just been heating, but it's let into the brick. It has lintels and everything. They're just very close to the floor, which makes it.
I'm going to make a recommendation here, and we'll see what the board thinks. But I'm going to say that we kind of give you a go ahead to keep on pursuing this, and for you, as this develops, to return when we know more of what it's really going to be. I mean, there's no point in us approving something that it's not going to be. I would appreciate some comments there from Katie, Mike, Conrad.
Yeah, I think it's a great project, and I don't know how to make a recommendation to proceed other than, I assume this was more of a courtesy review. I know they paid for their application, but without it being complete or
well, it's not complete. I don't think you're going to have to pay for the review again, but I'm going to request that, I would hope the board gives you, a go ahead to continue with this, and then that you would, as this develops more and really what you're going to do, that you come back again.
Yeah, I think it's a great project, and I just think that to hold it up for anything more that what we don't know would be counterproductive to the whole project. So when they progress with their investigations and finding out what's behind the walls and what's structurally possible, that they keep us, approve it subject to their keeping us updated as they see what it's going to look like in the future. It may be on a monthly basis, it may be 2 months,
as
whenever
it progresses, get it, the more final, or if you're starting to make some unsure decisions. Let me ask, is taking down the brick and rebricking not not financially feasible?
I haven't received proposals yet. They're still, I brought in 2 contractors, one from New Jersey, one from New York. One specializes in exactly this type of problem. I'm waiting for proposals, so I don't know. What I do know is, and what the 2 contractors agreed with, was the shelf, the brick shelf, isn't wide enough.
Gotcha.
And we all believe that was a contributing factor to some movement.
Right.
There's evidence that door, that particular little door there, as you look at the brick returns to that, they're cracked all the way up. I mean, there's been deterioration. This thing just wasn't really done right from the get-go.
Gotcha.
But we can certainly do that. I will say that the facade of the building facing Linden Street is very far along as far as, I mean, that stairwell is the size it needs to be for the required occupancy and egress for the apartments on 3 and 2. There may be a little bit less glass on the face because there's a lot of solar gain there. That's the southern facing side of the building. We might bring some, have less windows, but we want windows.
There are things you can do with the glass too, you know, you can fit the glass, you can tint the glass. I happen to like the fact that you can see the original building behind there.
The glass,
Yeah. Particularly the cornice at the top, you know.
Yeah,
I can look in there and I can see what it was, and then this thing is just sort of floating in front. The more solid it becomes, the less, I think, the, you know, it's not as good. It's my sense.
Understood. The dental in front of the building is in very good shape. We'll be able to restore that. The patio size is the size that it is. We'll play around with the roof a little bit, whether it's a shed roof or a patio roof that has a railing, or whether it's a patio roof that has access for the second floor tenants, is to be determined. But the nano wall, that entire idea with the box planters in front, we want to have a beautiful welcome mat for anyone coming down the sidewalk and approaching the entry of the restaurant. So all of that is locked in. Some methodology of how we're going to build that will be determined. That area is over the vault. The vault runs all the way out to the curb, and the cap on that vault has completely deteriorated. So we'll be applying to remove that, forming and pouring a new vault, weatherproofing that, and then pouring our slab for the actual patio and building up the single-story addition, and that will solve that problem. In the meantime, there'll be new sidewalks, not only in the front and on the side. We have a 13-inch grade difference between the sidewalk and the entry to the first floor slab. All of that is dealt with on this drawing appropriately. Nice ramp there in the front. So I think the front of the building is going to not change very much. I think the left-hand side of the alleyway is going to be determined shortly. We really haven't gotten into the stucco over the Irish pub yet, other than the fact that we did see that has released. The parapet on that side of the building is not in good shape. The capping, the coping was not installed properly, and there was just a lot of exposure to the weather for a long time. So that stucco, when you get up there and look down, there's a 2-inch gap. So that's a problem we'll deal with as we stage on that roof and get into it. We're going to have to.
Okay. Jim, I think this is maybe enough for, I'm going to recommend a motion here and basically to accept your process, and thank you for coming, and request that, you know, you may come on the, you know, for the next couple of months as you develop this, to bring it back to us. Is that fair?
That's very fair. Good. Thank you so much.
I do like the fact there's a couple things here that I'm gonna say I hope you keep. I like the fact that the stair tower does not go exactly to the corner of the building, that it's something that I can look through and I can see it as something applied to a building that didn't have this tower here. Okay? And so that's a little architectural nicety, but I hope you don't lose that.
I don't see why we would. It all
Okay.
works.
Michael, Conrad, somebody make a motion here?
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead, Conrad.
So I make a motion that we approve this conditionally upon them coming back with more solid plans as they find out, you know, what the remedies are and what are the possibilities for the future.
Good. Okay, we have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Jim, Carrie, hopefully we'll see you again. And
That'd
good
be
luck
great.
with this. It's a great improvement, and we're certainly with you and behind you on this.
I believe you are.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Nice to see you
Okay.
all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Brittany, I think we have one last thing here.
Yes, and that is for Mike. It's
Okay.
223.
Michael, your little building is beautiful. What are you doing to it?
I didn't even realize, Mike, that that was your building. I used to work next door to you, so that's why I was like, oh,
Oh,
when I
how
looked at
about
the
that?
pictures, I was like, oh, snap. All right, let
great.
me get out of here. Hold on, guys. Okay, I might did this. Oh,
I think the photographs are probably more telling than anything, if I were to be honest.
okay.
If you want to zoom back out. So, I mean, this is a pretty, if you click off the screen, I think you're highlighting the photograph.
Sorry.
There you go. That's okay. So yes, thank you for having me back before the HARB. I am interested in cleaning and repointing the building. And it's more out of necessity than want, to be honest. After living here for a year or two as an office tenant, we're finding that the windowsills, which are slate, it's actually a terrible detail. The slate terminates prior to the edge of the brick opening, and it creates a mortar joint. Typically, you see the slate or stone sill extend into the brick. And so it's that joint that is a mortar joint, and that mortar joint has failed over the years. And what's happening in any rainstorm, but more torrential rainstorms, the water's collecting on the sill, finding its way into the mortar joint, and then getting into the wall cavity, and then coming out in weird spots, often through the header of the window below. So I have a need to repoint the sills no matter what. But while I have guys here doing that, I thought I can have the building cleaned and other areas repointed where it needs it, which is primarily on the front, and along the bottom is where the most damage or decay has occurred.
So let me ask Mike a question here about, you're not replacing the sills.
No, I'm not replacing the sills.
Okay, because if you could pick them up and put a flashing under them, that would really help. It'd be a lot better than any mortar that you would do.
Yes, agreed. And I wish I had, if I were a wealthier man, I would have done that part of the original project, because the sills do extend into the building.
Yeah.
So now the windows sit on them. So replacing them or resetting them would be impossible.
Yeah.
And I thought about capping them or covering them with.
Yeah, that's the next thing. You do a dark metal on them. But,
yeah. But I do enjoy the character of them. So if I can resolve at least an issue short term, I think I can get a little more life out of what I have.
Okay.
So, and then there's an image on the opposite side. There's been some terrible patchwork done on the brick. If you keep going.
Oh yeah.
Brittany,
Uh-huh.
This is the facade. Yeah. So, no one seems to be really good at matching the brick. So a new mason who will be doing the repointing and the cleaning claims he has an ability to match the brick. So he's going to bring me some samples. If he has a close match, I'm going to instruct him to replace both of these bad patch jobs and tooth in better, because the one's really bad. The one on the left is a little more not so bad, but
right,
because it's an old window. At least you can see there was a window there. But the one on the right, someone had made a window where there was never a window, and then patched it. So hopefully trying to fix some of that. But this side gets some repointing. You can see at the bottom, it's a little bit of rock salt and damage from the weather that I'm trying to repoint. So the whole building won't be repointed. The color will match. It's not. I don't think anybody would even notice at the end of the day. They'd probably recognize the cleaning more than the repointing.
Right.
So,
Michael, do you have a contractor?
Yeah, I'm working with Seminaro Construction.
Okay.
They just had their entire building in South Scranton which if anyone's paying attention, Voodoo Brewery is moving in down there near the Southside Bowling Alley.
Yeah.
It's an old warehouse.
Yes.
They just had the entire thing repointed, so it's the same subcontractor that they'll be bringing to do all that. So
Okay. Do we have anyone willing to make a motion here?
I'll make a motion that we approve this project, and knowing Mike's attention to detail and architectural perfection, I have no doubt that the brick will be matched as closely as possible. So
Yeah,
I'll make a
you
motion
can't
to
get
approve it.
when the architect's the owner himself, you can't get better than that, right? Yeah. Do we have a second on that?
I will second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Michael, good luck on this.
thank you all, and I'm hoping
Yeah.
also to submit this as part of the Scranton Tomorrow Facade Grant Program because it is eligible, but the timing may not land in my favor, so we'll see.
Yeah,
This may start as soon as next week, actually.
okay.
Mike, just so you know, I probably won't be able to upload your certificate of approval into HARB until Monday. I'm
Okay,
out tomorrow, so I'm sorry.
no problem. I think they're going to be applying for a permit next week, so that should all align.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you, everybody.
Brittany, is that it for us tonight?
No,
No, we have more.
yes.
What do we have?
Sorry, I can't let you off that easy.
I
I
gotta
have
go.
bills that I need you guys to approve.
What do we need? Bills.
Yes,
Oh,
Okay.
yep,
And these are the bills for our advertising, right?
correct.
The small bills. Okay, Scranton Times 8148.
Yep, that's for
Scranton
one.
Times, that's it?
No, that was for one. This one is for 5758.
5758. Okay,
That's a
next.
special meeting. And then this one is for this meeting, and that is $114.94.
Whoa, okay. May I have a motion to approve these bills for our advertising?
I will make the
make-
motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Brittany, pay our bills here.
Yep,
Okay, is that it then?
that's it.
I have one item and it's small. I'm sorry. I did add a picture from the 1960s, I think, of my building before. If
Yes.
anyone could appreciate it. With
Oh,
me,
lovely.
it's neat,
Yeah.
right? So
It
there
was a
that is.
dark age. I lived through it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, charming. Yeah.
Brittany, you were saying something about, we had a conversation earlier about going to in-person meetings before.
Oh, yes. We might be looking to go back to in-person meetings now, just so you guys know.
Well,
So for November?
Let us know with enough time,
Of course,
of course, right?
of course. Okay, so I just wanted to give that heads up.
No, I was expecting that. Yeah,
Sorry, guys.
Thank you.
okay.
No
I'll
problem.
make a motion to adjourn if we're all done.
Thank you, Michael. So, second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Nice to
It was
see
a
you
good
all.
meeting, important meeting, so thank you all very much. And we'll meet again next month. All right.
Thank you.
So,
Take care.
thank you,
Okay,
guys.
thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, good night.
Good night.